for me anymore.
Hey,
She gonna go.
I know it's politics. It's not even reliable. But did you hear the latest Trump thing?
No, what did he do?
Reliable.
Oh, apparently Trump's doorman came out.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah, his doorman came out.
don't know how I
Okay, I
feel
don't
about
trust
this
anything
one.
a
I don't know how I
fucking
feel about this
doorman says. But regardless, let's suspend disbelief. This could be funny. I
He
want to
said
know what he
that
said.
he was not allowed to criticize the maid because the maid had Donald Trump's baby.
And wait, and the credit to this, besides the he said, she said, was he was forced to sell his story to a National Enquirer's own publisher. He does have the records of this. So it's not like, I am now coming out saying this. It's, I received money to not share this. Which
So he
National
pulled
Enquirer,
like a Schwarzenegger where he fucked the...
What did you say to me?
It's Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He pulled a Schwarzenegger and did that. I fucked
yeah,
up
they're
again.
saying
Damn it.
Trump pulled a Schwarzenegger, which it sounded right to me. And but the National Enquirer did this. It's called spiking a story. They bought the Playmates thing. I don't know what we're doing wrong.
I'm not laughing at you.
And so the National Enquirer bought the Playmate story that he fucked, and then they didn't run it. So it's a way of like making the story not come out.
Right.
It's called spiking it. And apparently they did it with this doorman also. He sold the story to the National Enquirer and for $30,000, I think. And then
how would the doorman know enough?
But that's what I'm saying. How would the doorman
Isn't that interesting? It's like if the doorman knows enough, they have to
What
pay him
about the
off.
lobby
Were they fucking
person?
on like the lobby couch?
Hold on.
that
Have
George
you guys,
and Jerry were talking
Maybe
about.
he knew
that someone
the
walked in
maid.
and
Maybe
stole.
the maid told
have
him.
you been? Have you guys collective been to New York enough to know the situation with doormen there? Being a doorman in New York City is as much of a legitimate job as being like the front of house at any restaurant, right?
Yeah,
like
I don't. Well, neither of those. The front of house at a restaurant. I don't think of either of those as a restaurant. When I walk into Outback and there's a 14-year-old.
I'm not talking about.
You wanna sit
I'm
down?
not talking about Outback.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Kyle. When you walk into Morton's and the person that's in like full suit
He's
gear,
wearing a
it's
fucking
like
tuxedo.
right. That guy
Yeah.
is the guy that dictates the entire shit that goes on when you sit down, right?
That guy's
Same with-
making a living off of my
Yeah.
tips,
There are some people-
and he's getting paid well. Yeah.
People like that. Yeah.
Being a doorman in New York City, for better or for worse, is as much a viable job as being a gas pumper in Oregon.
Especially in Trump Tower, right?
Like that's
You know.
expected.
Is as
You
much a
expect-
job as being a gas pumper? Okay.
Where'd that come from?
Hey, that's a big deal.
I'm
And there,
saying they're both
fuckers
jobs
don't
that
know
don't
enough.
need to exist, but they exist,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Like they
Sure.
you don't need somebody to open.
Get a 401k.
Point
Yeah,
is,
sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
this dude opens the door and watches you walk in and walk out with every person that you ever enter that building with. So regardless of if it is a like Trump walking in with like a child on his shoulder, like this is little Timmy, I fucked this girl, she had him. Like the guy sees everything. So it's not necessarily about like how valid is it that this guy who opens doors is to be trusted. It's just that he sees everybody that enters the building always. So it's valid, but it's also one of those like,
You can't totally know. Yeah.
You can't really,
I read that he was totally full of shit. Like his wife came out and said he's a routine liar. He's a serial liar.
Even if he was, this is such like an absurd and like stupid tangential thing to the main meat of whatever drama you're trying to get into. Like anybody who pulls this out is like, well, did you hear about the doorman? Like, shut up, just stop.
Yeah.
Like
it's like there's so
let
much
the grown-ups investigate the things that like let those people do those things. Stop listening to the doorman or the guy.
It's kind of interesting when the president of the United States has like an illegitimate baby from another person out there.
It's interesting, but it's not interesting insofar as we all know that Trump was like this beforehand.
That's the thing. Like with Schwarzenegger, it was a revelation. I think.
Yeah, because it was like this is the guy who works out a lot and is a champion and does this and that.
Who knew this guy who was shredded would fuck?
Who knew that this guy who had the best body on the planet?
If I learned anything from Kindergarten Cop, it's that he's wonderful.
Yeah,
that was
boys have a penis. Girls have a vagina. Yeah, you couldn't even say that now.
That's of character. That was Schwarzenegger's character being brought down. This is just like, even if it was true, I'd be like, exactly. So what?
Dude,
like this
what-
is understandable.
What I dislike about it is there is so much shit that Trump is doing.
There's too much
that is,
shit.
is genuinely something I dislike. And then they'll be like, but did you know he fucked this person 20
I
years
don't
ago?
care
Does
about
that
it.
sway you? It's like, no, focus on that $1.3 million or trillion
Thank you.
dollar spending bill he just passed.
Why are we
Why
waging
can't we
a
all
trade
agree
war?
that that is stupid and bullshit and awful? Like,
Why are we?
why do
are
we don't even
doing
have to
tariffs?
go to the minutia and the nonsense to get him. Just be like, you
Yeah.
meant this, saying you're someone who understands the economy and you're so good at the economy. I understand how to trick it. It's great. Like you're so good at that, and yet you pass this, you sign that. Like,
Did you see this? Wait, my favorite. God, I know that this is such a hot topic, and I feel my adrenaline's pumping talking about politics online. But no, I was laughing because I was sitting here and I saw pop up like Trump considering talking to other to South America countries and Canada about unionizing against a trade war with China, and I was like, wow, some sort of trans-Pacific partnership.
that's something
some would
Republicans
say.
love, more
That's
unions.
I was like, that's such a weird
He's
thing that you
legitimately
are
talking about
opposing.
re-entering the TPP. Is that what it
TPP,
is?
yes,
Yeah.
Trans-Pacific Partnership. I was like, wow, how weird it is that you would just pivot 180 and then do the thing you said you would. Like, if you're gonna make any claims, you stick to them. Like
He
that
makes
is like
me an ass, and this is why. Like when he pulled out of the TPP, I was like, you know,
were like,
I don't fully understand it, but look, it seems like all these deals we do poorly in, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And then he turns around and is like, "No, Woody, you shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna go with Obama's plan."
Woody, I'm going to do exactly what I said Hillary would do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hire
like,
this
to be
warthog.
fair-
Okay,
that
I'm
thing
gonna- I'm
Obama
gonna-
did. Can I get back in?
Yeah.
Dude. Apparently, the China thing is going better than we thought because they're now
It is. They-
conceding on
they
a
were-
lot of trade points,
Yes,
which
that
is good.
true.
Oh, I
But,
haven't
like,
read that.
Credit 'em.
Okay.
His whole threat of tariffs is like turning off actual conservative people like myself, where it's like, dude, I have a trade deficit with my local grocery store because I don't sell them any bananas. It's not
It's-
bad to have a
it's-
trade deficit, like by default, like, and he tries to frame it as though,
We give so much more money to China than they give to us.
yeah, because we're buying way more shit than they buy from us. Like that gap, I believe,
It's
is
just-
closing.
it's-
But
But you
still,
think that he's not
like-
appealing towards he's not appealing to you. He's appealing to the person that hears trade war and we're gonna win it, and they're just like, yes. They're not appealing to somebody who's like, well, I read anything about this and it was wrong. Like,
dude, but
that's
he
just,
should be appealing more to people like me, like
Who
mainstream.
could have saw this
conservative
coming?
people.
Nobody could have saw this coming.
Like,
Nobody.
there
this is
are
truly a mystifying experience.
dude, there are hundreds of times more mainstream conservative people like me who want us to cut taxes and cut spending, and that includes the fucking military.
You mean
So
like
all the people out there
you
like,
mean
oh, we need to bolster
1990s
this up again. No.
Republicans, old Republicans, like the real ones
And
before
old
they got. Well, no,
Clinton-
I'm saying just
Clinton's-
everybody pre-1995 like era, and even just normal people. We just got really far over on this side.